What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our college football channel. We continue with our 2022 predictions as we go team by team, and Wake Forest is up next. Wake Forest, of course, coming off of a really good year last year. You look at some of the other predictions for the Demon Deacons. The FBI has them at 8-0 and 8.0 and 4.1, so about 8-4. And again, that's like the fifth team I think we've done in the last few teams where that has been the prediction from the FBI. I don't know what the deal is with that, but about a 10% chance to go to the ACC championship. But no, it hasn't been a typo. That is actually what the FBI said. I know it seems like we've done a bunch of teams now with that record. But Athlon has them at 9-3, 3 losses. And remember, they only lost 2 games in the regular season last year. The over-under is at 8.5. So the Vegas respects Wake Forest. They like this team. The schedule might be a problem for them because they have some of the tougher games in the conference on the road, and I think that might catch up to them just a little bit. I don't like the way their schedule sets up. You know, if you compare their schedule with NC State's schedule I think is much better in the conference. But this is a Wake Forest team that should be really explosive again on offense. A lot of weapons coming back, including starting quarterback Sam Hartman. They're going to be good. They're going to be good on that side of the ball. Should score a lot of points. I am a little concerned about their defense. I don't think they're going to be great there, and they really haven't had a great defense in a long time. I can't remember when Wake Forest had a great defense, honestly, but I am concerned there. They're going to have to win some shootouts for sure. We saw the defense let them down at times last year, and it could be a bit of a liability again this season. So let's get into the schedule. And what I'm talking about here is you look at those games. Now, Clemson's going to be tough. Whether you play them home or away, that's going to be tough. But they'll play Florida State on the road, Louisville on the road, and NC State on the road. 3 of their tougher games in the ACC. Probably their 3 toughest games outside of Clemson, all on the road. And that's what makes this schedule tough, in my opinion. They do start with an easy game, though, against VMI. I don't expect them to have any problems there. So they'll play Vanderbilt after that on the road. Wake Forest and Vandy used to play every year, I believe, and or pretty much. And they're playing this year. Should be a good game. Vanderbilt just not going to be able to compete, though. Wake Forest, that offense is going to be scoring a lot of points in this game. Vanderbilt is not going to be very good. They'll be the worst team in the SEC. I think that's pretty clear. And even though it's on the road, I think Wake Forest rolls. So I think I got them beating Vanderbilt pretty easily. They play Liberty after that. This will be another shootout type game. You know, Hugh Freeze is going to have that offense ready even without Malik Willis there. But Wake Forest, just too much. I think they will win this game against Liberty, and I've got them advancing to 3-0. Next game is against Clemson. We saw last year, thought that maybe Wake Forest would challenge Clemson, and it didn't happen. Clemson had a rough year last year. Of course, Wake Forest was having a great year. And I think we saw that Clemson just still has such an advantage at the line of scrimmage. And I've been saying that that's why they won that game. And I think it's going to be a problem again. Now, Wake Forest will be fired up. This will be a huge game for them. They'll be 3-0. That offense will have some things ready, and they'll score some points early, might even take a lead. But I think the Clemson team just kind of wears them down. The depth of Clemson, the line of scrimmage where they're going to have an advantage. I think Clemson will wear them down in the second half. A closer game than last year's game, but it's hard to go against Clemson in this one. I think they do get the win, and that'll knock Wake Forest down to 3-1. A winnable game if Clemson struggles offensively and Wake Forest can get a little something going. You know, you never know, but Clemson probably going to be able to run the ball in this game and not have as much trouble having to throw the ball against this Wake Forest defense. And I think the advantage here just goes to Clemson, even on the road. Next game is on the road at Florida State. Coming off of a tough loss, you got another big game against a Florida State team that should be pretty good this year. This is a tough one for me. It's almost like one of those coin flip games. And usually when it comes down to that, I'm going to go with home field advantage. And that's why I'm going to pick Florida State in this game. I think they get the win. Wake Forest drops to 3-2. Then they have to play Army, a team that we know is very tough to prepare for, that triple option. That will be a challenge after Clemson and Florida State. And you know, Army's, there won't be many possessions in this game. Army will have their strategy. They'll hold the ball. They'll make it tough, and this game will probably wind up being close. But I think Sam Hartman will deliver in the fourth quarter. Wake Forest will get the win in a game that is maybe closer than you would expect. but it's still going to be a win for Wake Forest. Next game is against Boston College on October the 22nd. They'll have a bye week in between Army and BC. That'll help out, especially after having to deal with that triple option and then the 2 games before that, tough games. Boston College is going to be pretty good this year. Offense should be able to score some points. I think we see a shootout in this one. A lot of back and forth, a lot of quick scores. Going to be a great game, but I think I'm going to take Wake Forest at home in this one. So I think they get a big win here in the ACC, get back on track with their 2nd straight win, and I've got them improving to 5-2. Louisville up next, another team that should have a pretty good offense. You can expect a shootout in this game as well. I'm really high on Louisville, though. I think with everything they have coming back, Malik Cunningham, an underrated quarterback, they'll be able to score in this one. Wake Forest will be able to score, and we'll just see a lot of points. But at the end of the day, it's a tough one for me. It's a coin flip type game. Who has the home field advantage? Louisville, and I'm going to go with them to get the win. And Wake Forest down to 5-3. Next game on the road at NC State. Just did our NC State predictions in the last video. If you missed it, you can go back and check it out. But NC State, maybe not quite as explosive as Wake Forest on offense, but they should have a better defense. And I think that kind of cancels out. And then you go to the home field advantage, and that goes to NC State. So I'm going to go with the Wolfpack here. Close game, really good game, but I'm taking NC State to beat Wake Forest. And as good as this team I think will be, because of their schedule, all of a sudden you see them at 5-4. It's looking like a rough season, even though I think they will be a good team. That schedule just doesn't do them any favors until you get to the end. They do have an easier path here down the stretch. North Carolina is up next, going to be a young team this year. They'll probably be pretty explosive on offense as well. So another shootout. They're going to have to win some shootouts this season, I feel like. And this will be another one. A lot of back and forth scoring in this one, but I think Wake Forest playing at home, the veteran quarterback in Sam Hartman, he will come through. He'll deliver. They'll beat North Carolina and improve to 6-4. Next game is against Syracuse. Not very high on this team. I don't think they'll be terrible, but don't expect them to be great. It's a home game for Wake Forest. It's kind of hard to see them losing this game. Syracuse, with that run game that they'll have, maybe they kind of control the clock, slow the game down like Army does, and they make it interesting, a competitive game, but Wake Forest will get the win here. I've got them beating Syracuse and improving to 7-4. Final game of the season is against Duke on the road. Not very high on the Blue Devils. Don't really see much to get excited about when you look at this team. I think they're in rebuild mode. Don't expect them to be very good. Even on the road, I think Wake Forest is able to win this one pretty easily. So I've got them winning that game, improving to 8-4. And yes, it's not as good of a record as they had last season, but I think a lot of that has to do with the schedule. With Florida State, Louisville, and NC State all on the road, those are going to be tough games. Maybe they could find a way to win 1 or 2 of those, but then you have Clemson in there as well. So yeah, they could go 9-3 potentially. 8-4 is probably the worst case scenario because I don't see them losing any of the games I have in green. So they're probably right there at 8-4, 9-3. But my prediction for Wake Forest in 2022 is that they will go 8-4.